Hi everyone and welcome to Chem Talk, where today we will be going over the different phases and matter. So let's talk about it. Now you might be wondering, what even is matter? Well, matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. Take this ice cube for example. It has mass, which means it weighs something. It occupies space, which means we can hold it, and we know it is a solid. But why is that? Well, a solid, by definition, is matter that has a definite shape and volume, like the ice cube. Now, when the ice cube melts, it becomes a liquid, which has a fixed volume but will take the shape of a container, like this flask with liquid in it here. When you further melt the liquid, it will become a gas, which will take both the shape and the volume of the container that it's in. Like this room that we're in right now, there's gas in it, and we know that it's going to fill the entire room. These are known as the three states of matter. Now you might be thinking, what about plasma? Well, plasma is the fourth state of matter and is usually found in the core of stars. It is similar to the gas state, but has charged particles that sets it apart. Though there are four states, some things can also act as two different states at the same time. Take sand in an hourglass, for example. It acts like a liquid, but sand is actually solid. Now look at clouds. Clouds are simultaneously a mixture of air and water, almost existing at both gas and liquid states. Now that we know what matter is and the states it can reside in, we can talk about mass. Mass of an object is the measure of the amount of matter within the object, and there are several ways we can calculate it. The first most common way is to measure the force needed to move the object. Think of a car stranded on the side of a road and a tow truck. Now, the force required for the tow truck to pull the car is going to be proportional to the mass of the car. Now, the second most common way is to compare the mass to a standard mass using a balance. If we have a balance with an unknown mass on the left and 5 kilograms on the right, and it doesn't move, we know that they have the same mass. If we have the same situation but the balance tips, we know that the unknown mass is lighter than the 5 kilograms. Now, you might be saying, isn't this the same thing as weight? Well, weight is actually the force that gravity exerts on the object. So let's say you have a man on Earth and a man on Jupiter. They both have the same mass of, let's say, 100 kilograms. On Earth, the acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meters per second. On Jupiter, this is more than double, almost at 24.79 meters per second. This makes the weight of the man on Earth still 100 kilograms, but the man on Jupiter will weigh 253 kilograms. Now, we can't really talk about mass without talking about the conservation of matter. Matter and its behavior can be summarized in the law of conservation of mass. This basically states that in a chemical reaction, matter is neither created nor destroyed. Now, let's imagine you're at a beach trying to light a fire. So you have some oxygen, some light fluid, and a piece of wood. These would be your reactants. Now, the wood is lit on fire, and that would be the reaction. Then after the log is done burning, you would have coal, carbon dioxide, and the burned lighter fluid. This would be known as your products. The law of conservation of mass basically states that the mass of the products and reactants will always be equal. As you can see, we have the same amount of stuff on the left as we do on the right. Now let's move on to classifications of matter. Matter can be split up into two general categories, a mixture and a pure substance. A mixture has a variable composition, while a pure substance has a constant composition. A mixture can then be split up into two more categories, heterogeneous and homogeneous. Heterogeneous is a non-uniform mixture like a lava lamp, while homogeneous has a uniform body, kind of like orange juice. Pure substances can also be broken down into two categories, element and compound. An element cannot be broken down chemically, like a piece of pure gold can only be broken down into smaller pieces of pure gold and not anything else. A compound, however, can be chemically simplified, like sucrose, which can be chemically broken down into several different compounds or elements. Being able to classify matter will be very useful in working on chemical equations or reactions in future videos. Now, let's summarize what we learned. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space, like the ice cube. Matter also exists in four states: as a solid, a liquid, a gas, or plasma. Matter cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction, just like we saw at the beach. We also know mass does not equal weight. And matter can also be classified as a mixture or a pure substance and can be further classified as hetero or homogeneous mixtures or as an elemental compound or pure substance. Now that's all for today on matter and phases. Thank you for tuning into Chem Talk. Make sure and visit our website, www.chemistrytalk.org, for hundreds of general, organic, and biochemistry videos.